Welcome to the deep dive. Digging into the material for today, one thing really jumped out at me. It was this question from a mother. She was asking, looking back, was it that one glass?
Mm.
Just heart-wrenching. She didn't realize she was pregnant when she had a drink, and it just frames this whole difficult topic so powerfully, doesn't it? Alcohol and pregnancy.
It really does. And that personal story, it leads us straight into the core scientific finding that honestly, all our sources really hammer home. It might be
Mhm.
tough to hear, but it's vital. There just is no safe amount of alcohol when you're pregnant, period.
No, a safe amount.
No, and that means any alcohol,
Right.
wine, beer, champagne, it doesn't matter. The science is pretty emphatic about why. It's not just, being extra cautious. It's about the biology of fetal development.
Wow, okay. That's a very clear line in the sand right from the start. So our mission for you listening is to, well, unpack the key facts here. The things that are often misunderstood about how alcohol actually affects a developing baby. We want you to get the crucial takeaways from what we've looked at. And one term that kept popping up was teratogen. Can you maybe explain that a bit? Why is alcohol called that, and why is it so important here?
Yeah, absolutely. That word teratogen, it's critical because it's not just something generally harmful. It's a substance that specifically interferes with the development, causing abnormalities. Our sources explain that alcohol, because of its molecular structure, basically slips right across the placenta, like completely, instantly.
Nothing stops it.
No, it doesn't get filtered out like some other things might. So once it reaches the fetus, it directly messes with how cells are growing and specializing,
Hmm.
especially in the brain, which is developing so incredibly fast. Think of it maybe like a piece of bad code entering a complex program right when it's being written. It's almost designed to disrupt the wiring,
Yeah.
the nervous system's development.
Okay, so it's actively disrupting the building process, not just a general toxin floating around. Which I suppose leads us to fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, or FASD.
Exactly.
The sources stress that even, relatively small amounts could lead to FASD, and crucially, that it's primarily about the brain, not always about visible physical signs. That kind of challenges what people often think, right?
Absolutely. That's a key point. The spectrum in FASD means the effects vary hugely. It could be subtle learning issues or more significant cognitive challenges. But what the research consistently shows is that the main impact zone is the developing brain.
The brain.
Yes, which means the difficulties often aren't obvious at first glance. You might see issues later with impulse control, understanding social cues, memory, handling emotions, or planning things out, executive functions. It's not necessarily about the facial features some people associate with it, though those can occur. It really counters that older, narrower view of FASD.
That's such an important distinction. Okay, so we understand the mechanism, the teratogen aspect, the brain focus of FASD. So what's the big takeaway message here? What does all this science mean for you listening right now?
Well, the message couldn't be clearer, really. It boils down to the absolute importance of choosing zero alcohol. None.
Hmm.
If you're planning a pregnancy or if you are pregnant,
Yeah.
just zero.
Zero.
Yeah. One source had a line that really stuck with me. One glass can echo for a lifetime. That just, it captures the potential lifelong impact on a child.
It really does. It's quite profound, isn't it? Thinking about the potential long-term consequences from sometimes a moment someone didn't even know was critical. And going back to that mother we started with, her son's challenges, the speech delays, flinching at loud noises, those volcanic tantrums she described. These sound like examples of what the sources call invisible disabilities. Is that right?
That's exactly it. Those behaviors, the struggles she sees, they're outward signs of the underlying neurological differences. They're not bad behavior, not a lack of discipline. They're brain-based challenges that stem from that early alcohol exposure disrupting development.
So it changes how you perceive the behavior.
Completely. These invisible disabilities affect how a child processes the world, manages feelings, interacts socially. Understanding this often unseen impact is just so crucial. For public health, yes, but also for anyone interacting with children. And maybe this leads to a question for you to think about after this deep dive. If we understand that FASD is fundamentally brain-based, how did that change how we approach challenging behaviors in kids generally? Does it help us shift away from judgment maybe and towards compassion, towards finding the right support? It really echoes that idea we found. Not bad, just wired differently.
That's a really powerful thought to leave people with. Not bad, just wired differently. We really hope you'll share this information because getting these facts out there, especially about FASD being brain-based, it really has the power to inform, to protect kids and families, and maybe shift public understanding in a big way.